Now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, I'm not done. I'm gonna give you the personal initiative, the go-getter energy that puts all this into action. This is the energy that moves you to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together in one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one show, one masterclass. It is known as Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic: dig your well before you are thirsty. Now, this is a saying or a parable that has been around for a long time, but we have never talked about it in the work on your game philosophy way. So it's only right that I make sure I get on the record talking about this subject, and you'll understand this in a different way by the end of this class in whatever way you understood it before, if you ever heard it before. Now, this subject goes hand in hand with many topics that I've talked about. Just a couple days ago, I talked about relationships, and I told you, I actually mentioned this very saying: digging your well before you're thirsty, building relationships and giving value in relationships before you need anything back from anyone you want a relationship from. Any of you who works in online marketing or any type of sales, when you release a product or a service, for example, if you put out a book, you might want a bunch of people to promote your book, or maybe you want to write a guest post article, or you want to be on somebody's show or something like that to promote your product or your service, whatever it happens to be. You don't want to wait until you have a release date for your book that's 2 months away to start asking people to promote or building relationships with those people, because they're going to see it for exactly what it is. You're only coming to them because you want something. You would rather dig that well before you're thirsty and build relationships and give value to those people in whatever way is value to them, not to you, but to them, so that when you do finally ask for something, it's actually genuine and you've built up such equity in that relationship. You made so many deposits into that relationship bank account that they are more than willing to allow you to make a withdrawal from that account, and you're still gonna have money left in the account if you follow the metaphor that I'm giving here. So on that topic of relationships, as I said a couple days ago, people often go looking to make friends when they most need some friends and they need some help. People go looking for ways to get help from other people when they finally realize that they need it, and then it feels needy. And people can sense your neediness. And when you're needy, you know what that does? That repels people. The energy of neediness repels people away from you at the very moment that you actually need people to come towards you. So the best way to get people around you in life, I've talked about this before as well, not needing people. All right, the best way to get people to want to be around you is to not need them. All right, you cannot need and lead at the same time. I talked about this in masterclass number 301, and also in masterclass 1146, how to get high-paying clients. All right, not needing high-paying clients. That's the best way to get them, is to not need them in the first place. So the best time to dig a well is not when you are thirsty. The best time to dig a well is when your thirst is quenched. All right, you have just drank a whole gallon of water. That's the best time to dig a well. And I'll explain that, again, metaphorically speaking, in today's class. Point number one, the topic is dig your well before you are thirsty. Number one, make deposits without making withdrawals. I think most people who are listening to this, you probably have a bank account, or at least you have an idea how bank accounts work, even if you don't have one. All right, when you make a deposit of a certain amount of money, let's say you open a bank account with $500 in cash. Now, there's $500 in that account. Now, if you go make a $100 withdrawal every day for 5 days and you don't make any other deposits, or your bank account is back down to zero, the zero that it started at, or the zero that it was before you even had a bank account. You can't always be withdrawing from your bank account but not making equal or larger deposits. So what I'm telling you is, you want to make more deposits for higher amounts of money than whatever amount of withdrawals you are making, so that over time your account accrues higher amounts. It has a higher balance. Hopefully you can get a little bit of that 0.002 interest that the bank is going to give you, but you want to have something in there. You want to be adding to your account. You want your account to be getting bigger and not smaller over time. See, the thing is, when you're not thirsty, it's easy to donate water to other people, metaphorically speaking. This is all metaphor I'm giving you here. You have taken care of yourself and quenched your own thirst. Thus, now you're in a position to take care of other people and their thirst. This is just the way that it works in life. The better you're taken care of, the more willing and able you will be to help take care of other people. If you're not taken care of, it's really hard to take care of somebody else. The time when you're making more money than you need, for example, all your expenses are covered, your living is covered, you're taking care of everything you need to take care of financially, but you still have you have more money, And that's the time when you want to be saving. That's the time when you want to put stuff away. That's the time when you can make some investments for your future. Don't try to start saving or thinking, damn, I need to start saving as soon as a crisis hits, because it's too late. All right, that's when it's going to be really hard for you to do it, because you're in the midst of a crisis and you're going to need that money. But when there is no crisis, when you're in a time of calmness and nothing alerting is happening in your life, there are no emergencies taking place, that's when you want to do all the things that you might not be able to do when you're in the midst of a crisis or in the midst of your resources being pulled to their furthest extent, when you're in the midst of needing things. Take care of all those things now before those situations happen, because those situations will happen. We all know in life, it is unpredictable. The only guarantee besides death is change. So if everything's going swimmingly right now, everything's going pretty smooth and calm and easy, the only inevitability is there will be change, or either you're going to die or there's going to be change. And death is a change. A change from being alive to being dead, that's change. Something's going to happen that you're going to need to respond to it. So you want to get yourself ready for it before that, making the deposits as often as you can before you're going to need to make withdrawals, because there will come a time when you're going to need to make withdrawals. Don't try to start saving when the crisis hits. It's too late then. So give. If you have extra, or you feel like you do, or you want to position yourself to, give while expecting nothing in return. This is a key aspect of building relationships that I talked about a couple days ago. As I told you I was going to, this topic goes hand in hand with that topic. Those deposits that you give when you're expecting nothing in return, they accrue interest, quote unquote, interest with other people for the times that you'll need to pull something out of the bank. So for example, if you're a person who puts out the content online, you make YouTube videos, or you blog, or you do live streams, or you make TikTok videos that are entertaining to other people, and you do it all the time, not asking for anything in return. Maybe one day when you put out a book, or you decide to sell a product, or you want people to sign your online petition, all your fans who have been appreciating all the great stuff that you've been giving up to this point, they will be more than willing to make deposits into your account. You're taking a withdrawal out of the account that you built up with them, and they're going to give some of that back to you simply because you've been making those deposits so often up to that point, not because you needed anything and not because you were planning to need anything, but because you were just making the deposits because you wanted to make deposits. This is what smart investors do. They make their deposits ahead of time. They're making a bunch of deposits even when they're not sure what they're going to do with this money. I'm just going to keep making deposits, keep making investments, because at some point I'm going to pull this out. And when they're ready to pull something out, they're able to get a ton back. They usually can often get a lot more back than what they've even given, simply because they've been giving, and investing all up to this point. Gary Vaynerchuk has a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook that talks about this very principle. He's talking about, what he was talking about was when you have an audience online, what you want to do, the jabs, is to give value as much as you possibly can, not asking for anything in return. And then when you do ask for something, for example, hey, here's my book, go buy it. Here's my course, sign up for it. Here's my webinar, come register for it. Here's my free lead magnet, come give me your email address. When you do ask for something from your audience, even something very small, they are willing to accept that ask, and they're willing to comply with your ask, because you have been giving so much more. You are giving, at least in the metaphor of his book, 3 jabs for every 1 right hook. If you're giving 3 times for every 1 time that you're asking, then it'll be pretty easy, I would think, to be able to get something back from the people that you've been giving to. I heard Alex Sharfin, who's a business coach, talk about that when you are running a team, any type of business team, that if you want to offer a correction to someone who's working for you, that you need to be giving them 5 positive pieces of feedback for every 1 negative or correctional piece of feedback, in order for them to actually hear it and register it and listen when you offer them feedback. Oftentimes, people are giving maybe 1-to-1, 1 positive for 1 negative, or you have the criticism sandwich, as used to be taught. I don't know if people still teach that, but you tell them something positive, then you get a criticism, then you tell them something else positive. That's only a 2-to-1. Even Gary Vee gave it 3-to-1. Alex says a 5-to-1. I say 10-to-1. And I'm not saying necessarily when it comes to giving criticism or asking for a sale, but I told you all, when I was playing basketball, my training to game ratio was 10-to-1. 10 practice sessions for every 1 time I played in any form of game. 5-on-5, pickup game, rec league, pro-am, 1-on-1, half court, 3-on-3, horse. 10 practices for every 1 time I played in a game. And me, Alex, Gary are all saying the exact same thing. You must make more investments than you will ever ask for in withdrawals. This is just the game that you are signing up for. That's the way that it works. It is not an equal deal. You give a certain amount, you take a certain amount. No, that's not the way it works. Your bank account will always be at zero if you take out the exact same amount that you put in. What's the purpose of even having the account? You might as well just keep it under your mattress if you're going to spend it all. Give while you're expecting nothing in return so that you build up interest, quote unquote, for the times you need to pull something out of the bank, quote unquote. You follow me? Point number 2. Today's topic is dig your well before you're thirsty. Have it and not need it. This is the whole point that I explained to you. I just expelled out in point number 1. You want to have extra money in the bank that you do not need to spend. You're not just spending every single dollar you put in. You're going to be at zero. You're staying at neutral. The world is always moving forward. If you're at neutral and the world is moving forward, you lose. All right, everyone understands that? Have it and not need it. So in times of peace, as Sun Tzu says in The Art of War, prepare for war. When things are calm and peaceful, be ready for things to not be calm and peaceful. Because as I just told you, the only inevitability in life besides dying is change. I talk about the 5 forms of investment all the time. Damn near every other show here. What are the 5 forms of investment? You should know by this point. Time, money, attention, energy, focus. What are investments? My definition of an investment is using a resource now in order to have more of that or another resource later. That's my definition of investment. You're going to do something now and you're going to get more later. You're going to give something now and have more later. It doesn't even have to be the same thing. I might give my time now and get money back later. That's what some people call a job or a business. I put my time in now and every 2 weeks you're going to give me a check. I'm investing my time with the trust that I'm going to get a paycheck in 2 weeks. That is an investment. I go to the gym every day for 90 days with the trust that I'm going to have some bigger muscles 3 months from now. That's an investment. You invest time in the gym to have big muscles, money in your business now to have business doing better next year. When you get better in the future, then you will probably reinvest. Because if I go to the gym for 3 months and I get bigger muscles, I'm like, I like having these big muscles. Maybe I can make my muscles bigger. Maybe I just want to maintain, but I'm going to keep making that investment in the gym. Because if I stop going to the gym, the muscles will go away, right? If my business did better because I invested in marketing, then I'm going to keep investing in marketing, because if I stop, then I'm going to lose my market share. People are going to forget about me, and I'm going to lose that extra money that I was making in my business. So once you see that the investments are paying off, you keep making investments. You don't stop. It's not a one-time thing. It's a continuous thing. And when you reinvest and you repeat, you may eventually have excess. You will have stuff in excess, which is not a bad or greedy thing. It's not bad or greed to have excess when you have made the proper investments and they're paying you back as they should. Now, I don't claim any religion, but anyone who does, I think every religious text out there, no matter what religion you're a part of, they all say something about that they want their followers to prosper and live in abundance. Is this true? If anybody who's listening to this follows a religion that does not say that they want you to prosper and live in abundance, please let me know what religion that is. But I think every religion says that. They all share at least that in common. They want you to prosper. They want you to have abundance. They want you to have more than you need. They don't want you to be scraping by, check to check, metaphorically speaking. They want you to be in abundance. In a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, if you have not read that book, guess what you should do? In that book, the author suggests when others falter, let's say financially, if you save up your money and you have money, when other people need money, then you can be their bank. You can loan them money, and then you can make money because you charge them a little bit of interest. You loan them $10, they got to give you back 11. Now you just made $1 on that. Just an example, but this is the point. When you have excess and you're putting away your excess, when it comes time that people need a little bit of help, you can be in a position to help them, and now you can benefit because you've been in a position to help other people. It's not a bad thing. This is not a greedy thing. This is just the way it works. All right, the bank does it to you. All right, businesses do it all the time. Credit card companies do it. Why not you do it? Because that's the way they make their money. Why not you make more based on the investments that you have built up just to this point? And again, it doesn't even have to be in money. If you invest time and energy into learning a subject to the point that you're at an expert level, what can you do? You can later help other people who have decided that they want to make that investment now. You made the investment 5 years ago, so you know a subject at an expert level. Now there are people who decided today that they want to learn that subject at an expert level. Now they don't have to go where you went. They can just come to you. You got the information. You can explain it to them. And they'll make an investment in learning it. You charge them. They get what they need. You get what you need. The economy gets some money flowing. Win, win, win. Everybody benefits. Point number 3. Today's topic is dig your well before you are thirsty. Point number 3, anticipate your future needs. This is exactly what digging your well before you're thirsty means. I mean, think about this. If you just drank a whole gallon of water and you quenched your thirst, why the hell do you need to dig a well? Are you not even thirsty? Why dig a well? You dig the well because you anticipate that even though you're not thirsty now, at some point in the future, you're going to be thirsty again and you're going to need some water. So this is anticipating your future needs, even though it's not a current need. It's not an urgent need. You're still making the investment now because you anticipate that you're going to need to call on that investment sometime in the future. This is what smart people do. And as I told you, people who listen to audio master classes and shows like this one, or listen to podcasts, they tend to be smarter, wiser, more successful, and they make more money than the average individual. That's by studies. That's not just something that I'm making up. Each action that we take creates an equal and an opposite reaction, right? So if you accumulate a lot of money, for example, you're going to pay a lot in taxes, or at least theoretically. And when you make a lot of money, people may come to notice that you made a lot of money. So you might want to have a lawyer on your side, especially if you're doing business. If you have kids this year, in 4 or 5 years, you might want to pay for some private school for your kids. So maybe before you even have the kid, you want to look up the prices of schooling so you don't get sticker shock later. Listen, I don't even have kids, and when I looked up the price of private school, I got sticker shock. I don't even have kids yet. So I'm sure if you have them, you got a little bit of sticker shock. But the point that I'm making is you want to look in advance before it comes time that you actually have to do something, so you can at least anticipate what you're going to have to do. The thing is this: your life is never going to be perfect no matter how much you achieve. I don't care how good you are, how much money you make, how smart you become, how much of an expert you consider yourself to be. Life is never going to be perfect because every achievement in addition to your life creates a future need. For example, you have some dream cars that you wanted to have, and now you have the means to purchase those cars. Now you go out and buy 5 of your dream cars, the 5 cars that you've always wanted in life. You had pictures of them from a magazine hanging up on your vision board. Now you went and bought all 5 of those cars. All right, now what do you need? Now you need a garage to park 5 cars in. You used to only have 1 car. Now you need a garage for 5 cars. Now you need insurance for 5 cars. Now you need to pay maintenance and upkeep for 5 cars and everything else that comes with owning a car. I'm not a big car person, but any of you who is, you know there are a lot of expenses that come with owning a car, especially a really nice one, especially your dream car. Now, just because you got those cars doesn't mean everything's good and perfect. Now you got to take care of those cars. Now you got to watch over those cars. Now you got to make sure the engines don't die. Now you got to make sure nobody chips the paint. Now you got to make sure nobody steals them because they're dream cars, so they're probably very good looking vehicles. If you play sports, for example, you got to invest in your body, right? You got to, because you're playing sports, now there are going to be future needs. So when you're playing sports, you got to invest in better food. You got to invest in your trainers. You got to invest in your training facilities. You got to prepare for all these things before you even begin. Now, if you're going to start an online business, you're probably going to need a computer. You're going to need some Wi-Fi. You might want a desk if you're going to work from home, or maybe some office space if you're going to work somewhere else. You're going to need, maybe you want a domain name. Maybe you want to get a business card if you want to do that. Maybe you need a Facebook business page. These are all things that you need to anticipate needing, and you're going to have to go and do these things because you added this new thing, which is a good thing. Now all these other things that come with it, all these other investments that have to be made to support the new thing that you're doing, they are part of the deal too. So just because you got better, or you stepped it up another level, or you acquired some new asset, doesn't mean that everything gets easier. No, you might have to actually do more work because of that. And this is why you need to dig your well before you're thirsty. So knowing that eventually you're going to be thirsty, you should ask yourself, okay, I'm going to be thirsty again one day. What do I need? Okay, I'm going to need a well. I'm going to need a bucket. I'm going to need to dig really deep into the ground. How about I do that work now, so when I get thirsty, I don't have to worry about it then? And some people may be wondering, well, why, Dre, why do the work early? Why dig the well before you're thirsty? Why not just wait till you're thirsty to dig the well? Well, here's why. As I told you in a recent masterclass, let me see where it is so I can make sure I'm giving you the right numbers. Masterclass number 1412. If you don't remember that topic, I'll tell you right now. To be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. And to be late is to be forgotten. That's why you do it early. Let's recap today's class, which is dig your well before you're thirsty. This goes hand in hand with many topics I talked about on relationships. People often go looking for things only when they most need it, and then it feels needy, and then they don't even get it. Paradoxically, the best way to get people around you is by not needing them. The best way to attract what you want is to position yourself to already have it. Point number 1, make deposits without making withdrawals. All right, because if you were just making a withdrawal for every amount that you deposit, you might as well not even have a bank account. When you're not thirsty, it's easy to donate to others, metaphorically speaking, because you have taken care of yourself and you're in a position to help others. Then, the time when you're making more money, than you need, that's the time when you should be saving. Don't try to start saving when the crisis hits, because it's too late. Those deposits will eventually accrue interest if you keep making deposits and not taking it out of the bank. And then when you need to pull something out of the bank, that jab, 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 right hook, you're able to pull something out. Point number 2, have it and not need it. In times of peace, prepare for war, as Sun Tzu said in The Art of War. Talk about the 5 forms of investment all the time. Definition of investment: using a resource now so you can have more of that or a different resource later on. If you invest in the gym, you're going to get muscles. You invest money in your business will do better. And when you get better in the future, you will reinvest again because you want to get better again, right? And there's nothing wrong with getting better and continuing to grow and having more and more of what you want, because whatever religion you follow, the text says you should prosper and live in abundance. The richest man in Babylon said, when you save money up, when other people need money, you can become their bank. You get something, they get something, everybody wins. When you invest in knowing a subject at a high level, you can later have other people invest in learning it from you. You get something, they get something, everybody wins. Point number 3, anticipate your future needs. Every action creates an equal and opposing reaction. So if you accumulate a lot of money, now you got to pay taxes. Now you might have to find tax shelters. Now people may notice, they might try to sue you. So now you got to invest in a lawyer. So just because you got a lot of money doesn't mean your work gets easier. As Notorious B.I.G. said, more money, more problems. If you have kids this year, you might want to look up how much it's going to cost to send them to school, because just because you had a kid doesn't mean life becomes perfect. It actually becomes more work, as far as I've heard. Every achievement and every addition in your life leads to a future need. If you go get 5 of your dream cars, now you need a garage for 5 cars, insurance for 5 cars, maintenance and upkeep for 5 cars, and everything else that comes with owning the car. If you play a sport, now you need food, you need trainers, you need gyms, etc. You got to prepare for these things before you need them, not when you get to the moment, oh damn, I need this thing, I forgot to get ready for it. That's a bad idea. Make your investments up front, so that the well is dug, and when you're thirsty, all you gotta do is snap your fingers and push a button and you're already drinking. Work on your game. Dre all day.